He looks in the mirror. The face staring back at him promises that life would be better unlived, and he believes it. His own reflection mocking his existence. He can't resist one last hit before he heads to class to sit in a lecture hall full of people who have it all together. Last week of fall semester, and Eddie has paved concrete decisions in his mind that if he can't pass this chemistry class, this will be the last the world will see of him, and he is sure that he won't be missed. Growing up as a child, Eddie never spoke, and his parents never kissed. The only thing he saw was knuckles on fists meet with stomach and tears meet with empty bottles. Eddie was the youngest, and he grew up knowing this to be what love is, and can't get his mind above it. It now circles his head as he circles his desk in his dorm, trying to cram as much chemistry as can fit next to beaten and bruised memories. Eddie took his exam the next day, and today he got his results. Eddie failed. And so as not to let down his reflection, he sat down with his murder weapon of choice, a cocktail of poisons in capsule form. Eddie took them one, by 2, by 5, by 26, until he laid out on that floor. His roommate Sam through the door saw him and called for help. 3 days in a hospital bed, Eddie woke to the sound of his roommate Sam's voice in his head. Sam spoke life over Eddie. He declared the power of Christ over his body, and when Eddie peered up through parted eyes, he saw Sam and another man standing over him, and this sound began to surround him. That wasn't a sound at all. It was something that couldn't be explained, but somehow Eddie knew in that moment he was changed. And that's when Sam began to tell him about the day when true love came just to save him. And Eddie knew in that moment that this is what he had to give his life to. Eddie had a full recovery. A full recovery, but one question remained. Sam, who was that man who came with you that day? There was something different about him. And Sam said that he was alone the whole time, and it must have been the pain medicine playing with your mind, Eddie. But Eddie knew it was a different kind of vision. A whole year later, and Eddie is now living on mission. Eddie is victoriously living a year later, and it's the night before exams. Eddie is pacing circles around his desk, trying to cram as much as he can fit in. He steps up to his mirror, and he looks into it. The face staring back at him reminds him to renew his mind, not to conform to the world around him. Eddie now speaks God's truth resoundingly, and when suicidal thoughts try to catch up, they lose their breath, because Eddie is a marathon runner, and he exercises self-control in all things and leans not on his own understanding. And when last year's lies try, they can't even get a foothold in his reflections mind. Eddie understands the affliction flesh faces, but he refuses to stop running his race. And when old habits try hard to emerge, Eddie counters the urge with the truth that he has been set free. Free from anything that has ever tried to hold him. And now he is free to let the only one who can make him whole hold him. And in that truth is power. The power to live free and the power to sustain victory. Woo! Yeah.